The Titan submersible disaster seemed like a tragic accident at first glance. But what's truly shocking is that engineers predicted this exact outcome nearly a decade before it happened.
That's such a chilling detail. The way this story unfolded last summer had everyone watching that 96-hour oxygen countdown, but now we're learning it was almost inevitable.
You know what's fascinating about this new Netflix documentary? It shows how OceanGate's CEO, Stockton Rush, was basically playing Russian roulette with people's lives while claiming to revolutionize deep-sea exploration.
Well, that's the thing that really gets me. They were charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for what they marketed as an innovative adventure, but it was more like an experiment with paying test subjects.
Let me tell you about their supposedly groundbreaking innovation, this carbon fiber hull. Now, carbon fiber is great for things like sports cars, but here's the wild part. It had never been tested at those extreme depths, and it actually gets weaker every time you use it.
Hmm. And they just ignored that crucial detail about material degradation?
Oh, it gets worse. Boeing engineers actually warned Rush directly back in 2012, saying they had no safety margin and were at high risk of significant failure. But instead of listening, Rush just kept pushing forward, even claiming he had partnerships with Boeing and NASA that didn't actually exist.
The way they handled safety concerns is just mind boggling. Like that experienced submersible pilot, David Lockridge. What happened with him?
So get this, Lockridge moved his entire family to Washington for this job, and when he started raising safety concerns, Rush not only fired him, but actually sued him when he tried to alert regulators. There's this incredible recording from a 2018 staff meeting where Rush basically brags about doing weird shit and says he doesn't want anyone around who questions their methods.
That's exactly the kind of Silicon Valley move fast and break things mentality that doesn't work when actual lives are at stake.
You know what's really telling? During dives, the sub would make these terrifying cracking sounds, and instead of seeing this as a red flag, Rush just casually called it the carbon fiber seasoning with use. The documentary reveals it's actually shocking the Titan made as many successful dives as it did. 80 attempts, with 13 reaching Titanic depth.
Well, that explains why the documentary director said the sub could have imploded at any time during those previous dives.
And here's another layer of recklessness. They actively avoided any third-party safety inspections and came up with this clever scheme to call their paying customers mission specialists just to sidestep maritime safety regulations.
The parallel with the original Titanic disaster is just too striking to ignore. Another case of human hubris leading to devastating consequences in exactly the same spot.
You're right. And what's even more disturbing is that their own monitoring system showed damage to the sub during a dive in 2022, but they still took it out again. 5 people lost their lives. Hamish Harding, Shahzada Dawood, and his teenage son Suleiman, Paul-Henri Nargeolet, and Rush himself.
That's what makes this story so frustrating. There were so many opportunities to prevent this tragedy, so many warning signs.
Let me share something really important from the documentary director. He said if the paying customers had known about all the decisions made along the way, they probably wouldn't have gone near that submersible. And we're still waiting for the official Coast Guard report about exactly what happened.
So, what do you think is the biggest lesson we should take from all of this?
Well, I think it's that innovation without responsibility isn't really innovation at all. The Titan disaster wasn't just about a submersible that imploded. It was about a culture that valued bravado over safety, that prioritized being first over being right. When you're dealing with human lives, there are some rules you just can't break, no matter how innovative you think you're being. The laws of physics don't care about your disruptive vision or your desire to be the next tech billionaire.